Hello, everyone. I'm Rob Smith, the Black Quant VTF here at T3 Live with this weekend's market breakdown vid. And the problemo here is you'd think that we have a ton to keep an eye on because of all these inside weeks, but we really need to see if we're going to get a simultaneous break where everything starts going in the same direction. Because you can see the SPY just sitting here, just trading in a tight range, inside week. And so the reason that's occurring is we're having certain sectors, a sector divergence, where some are going up, some are going down. That gives you a flattish market like that. So first things first, we got to get out of this stuff and see if everything starts to go with the futures. We got earnings starting to come out, so they might still go every which way, and it wouldn't surprise me to go outside and take out both sides of last week just because it's been so tight. If you go to QQQ, would be a slight rev strat here, and that's because it's an inside week poke just slightly above it and back in, but still just this ridiculously tight range that once we get out of there, we got to stay out. Otherwise, we're just going to keep testing that range back and forth, triangle style. So we'll go through it and just see how these sectors going, because a lot of the plays we've been doing are just right off the opening, all the opening gap list, and then watching the sector rotation during the day, because when you go back again on that SPY, you're just going to see this continuous triangulation, higher high, lower low, higher high, lower low. Let's start it over again. Higher high, lower low, higher high, lower low, higher high. Come back in the middle and just do nothing until we can get out of that. One of the things we were looking at last week was that British pound. And when that thing wiped out, it's like when you look at things in terms of how the strategy works and why it works. One of the things we want to look for these types of setups. It doesn't mean it's always going to blow up like this, but certainly in this condition, when you can see this monthly tight inside, took it to the upside, then that's a rev strat here. So what that means here, when we took out last month's lows, you had 1, 2, 3 months of people in a very tight range going completely underwater right away. And the weekly group was an inside week to the downside. So that's why we look for multiple actionable signals on longer-term time frames, not just sitting there looking at your 5 and 15ers. All right, if we go to Apple goes inside week, and so the question is, what is this consolidation here? Big, strong move up, 1, 2, 3 weeks in this range is going to go up, sideways measured move, slight higher high and triangle back down. But right now, inside week, like a whole bunch of things, got to wait for those to break and see what happens. Small cappers went slightly to the downside and come back in, and you just don't want to micromanage yourself into going nuts here. It's doing nothing. It's still got to take out this mother bar range. So you got 2 week inside pattern, because you're looking at the daily and you're just get killed in here. Right? So things really got to start moving. If you go to bonds, TLT a little bit more action. On the weekly, had that weekly shooter from last week, comes down here, and so it's just trying to walk down here. And if you look at the daily, hammer, slight higher high off of that, and that monthly had that month and down, and now does not confirm rev strat and is starting to drop in. Would still be an inside month, but starting off as daily hammer. We'll see how that goes. You got SVXY. Talked about this wide month and trying to be able to get out of that, and starting off here. Not quite an inside week, but still real tight stuff. If you go to the VXX, you see this stuff on the daily. Here, trying to get out of this bar's range, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and just sitting all stuff in here just like the SPY. So we could use a little shake them up. If we go to the diamonds, same deal. Chopping them up, spitting them out, doing nothing. Inside week, and still, tight 4 week range that we need to get out of. And so we can break that down just a little bit. We got Boeing, if we got things trying to go up on the upside, slight here, 1, 2, 3 months completely within this bar's range, but it presently is rev strat month above 133.08, so we'll respect that. If we go to Cisco, the old school techie, once again, you're going to have your inside week starting up near the highs. You've got Home Depot. Home Depot is an inside week to see if this is going to form the higher low after the outside week, inside week, and go back up into here. Is it going to come down sideways, measured, move towards the triangle? Watching that inside that inside week. Johnny John, another tight one. You've got McDonald's presently inside month and down to the downside. So you can continue to watch for continuations there should things start to go south. If you look at XLV, and it's got some of them old school druggies in it. There's an inside week there, and that's going to give you the Pfizer and the Merck And the thing about the Merc, look at this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 weeks completely within this bar's range. So eventually that's going to have to change too. All right, so we got an old school techie again, Microsoft. Just an inside week here to see how does it get out of this consolidation, all this stuff. If we go to Procter & Gamble, still outperforming there from the XLP defensive names, and an inside hammer towards the highs here as it gradually tries to crawl back up toward the all-time high on the big monthly triangle. All right, if we go to the trannies, doji month can never really get it going, and you can see this stuff in here. Got that spike down, and now it's trying to walk up through this stuff here, but now it'd be this weekly here, inside week, next to the shooter. We'll see if we can get out of there, because you got Delta earnings, I believe, this week. Delta, test the old triangle and go shooter if they want to drop her back into the old triangle. On the daily, went up in here. That's a little nasty gap up, reverse, measured moving back in. On the monthly, still trying to get outside of all this stuff here. But we've got earnings coming out. And you got American Airlines here, not doing much. Tis green on the month, and it is putting in a series of higher lows on the monthly. But for the most part, just kind of stuck in this little triangle here with no actionable signal. United Airlines, a little better. We're trying to get outside of this stuff, but once again, a shooting star after a slight higher high to see if they want to triangle them all the way back down into there. Nothing else on the monthly there. If we go to Spirit Airlines, there's a weekly shooter. Might want to keep an eye on that if things start to fall apart in the airlines groups and the trannies. CSX still going out near the highs, and that's been the strong one. Their earnings are coming out this week, and had that inside month and up, and now you take all these guys out, so now it's got to keep going. Put up or shut up time here in the CSX, and you can see this triangle here on the daily if I pull this back, like so. And this one goes back a ways here like this. Here, off of these highs, right into this stuff to see if we can expand that. It's going to drop back in. Go to Union Pac, and Union Pac just doing the walk, still walking up here, and like a couple of these other things in here. Talked about the monthly here would be daily rev strat to the upside, inside bar countered with hammer. To see if we can get these, really get the monthly momentum hammer going above that. Okay, if we get to CNI, that's also another monthly Momo hammer to keep an eye on. If the rails want to get going, and CHRW. Here, when inside month, outside month, and is inside month again, but you are starting off as an inside week, and we'll see if that gets anything going. If we go to the Utes having all sorts of trouble here, and the Utes, boy, they got them but good in here, they did. Stop them out. Looking good, it's going back up. Outside bar, that's fractal triangle expansion. Monthly momentum shooter to the downside, and you're seeing AEP doing that. You got Southern doing that, Dominion, all sorts of trouble going on here, and you can see on the shorter term time frames, really well-defined triangle. So the question is going to use this as a continuation triangle, just blow through the bottom and keep going, or is going to try and form some consolidation to hold up there. We shall see. If we go to XME, still trying to do the rev strat month there here. Would still need above 27.16. It is not there right now, so opens up as that inside month. And here, slight attempt at rev strat here. I believe 16 and 14, slight rev strat in here, but you can see whenever you got to squint on these things, you really want to let these things play out. But gold was beautiful last week, and that's exactly what you want, something to go after inside week and down, GDX. And we got a simultaneous break out of that because every gold and silver name, all that stuff was breaking in the same direction. That's what we want. Even silver wheat in here, you can see that goes inside week. Also week and month down. ABX. There you go, month and down. You got GOLD staying month and down. RGLD is now month and down. So just looking for more reconfirmation of that. AEM, all your buddies there. And you got Vale doing nothing but little guy going inside week. And this, we'll pay attention to either side of that. So metals be moving. We're watching ATI. Still, because a lot of that stuff still have potential on the Rev Strat month up. Alcoa as well. It's presently Rev Strat month to the upside. CRS and the steels, and keep an eye on that just because inside week. Also have the SLX. It's SLX Vector Steel Index and going inside week, so we can keep an eye on that. All righty then. Let's get to the financials. And if we go FAS, FAS, tight inside week, still got to get out of there. And XLF went RevStrat week to the upside, so a little bit different there. And KRE also was RevStrat week up last week. You've got Bank of America flirting with this inside month and up here. See if we can get the measured move out of that, baby, if they start to smell some higher interest rates ever. Citicorp also inside month, momentum hammer up. JP Morgan trying to take that little hammer and just moving up, but nothing new as far as actionable signals. You can see this on the daily, real tight triangle, trying to get out of this stuff. Tried to go momentum hammer and got out of it just a little bit. Going to need some follow through to get through that thing, though. If we go to Wells Fargo, don't call it a comeback, but it totally is. And Wells Fargo on the monthly here stays green and goes back full time frame count to the upside. Off of that stuff, you just have no new actionable signals here to continue it up. If you go to PNC Bank, PNC trying to take the monthly momentum hammer to get through all this stuff. Once again, you're going to see this tight triangle business here that needs to get out of that stuff, or it drops right back in. If we go to BBT, there's another one looking like outside hammer next to the hammer, trying to get out of that triangle. It's still trying to move higher, but we got to get through this triangle stuff, and that's been a tall order, but we'll see if we get the inside weekend up out of the FAS. If we go to STI, more hammers trying to get through this. Remember, we were watching this during the week, and we got through it. That's good, because on the monthly, you got that momentum hammer taking all these guys out. Now it's just got to keep it going and look for additional setups on that. Go to the Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs having a nice month, green month, and moving higher. Did it momentum hammer daily on Friday here to try and take this stuff out. Problem is no new actionable signals, and you got Morgan Stanley doing this real tight triangle daily business too. Sets up as a rev strat to the upside to start off on Monday if it wants to take a shot right out the chute. And Visa just coming up against all this kind of stuff in here. No new actionable signal on a lot of this stuff, but you can see this monthly up and weekly here, taking a few shots up into here. The question is, you can be able to get through that, or you're going to drop back in on this stuff. We shall see what we shall see. If we go to crude oil, we got the USO here, inside month and up to the upside above 1103, and that's in force as of right now. So it pops up a little bit. Still want to see it makes a slight higher high if we can get back through that stuff. Daily here, just a nice waka here, but it's month and up, so we got to look for reconfirmations on the shorter term stuff. XLE is this daily triangle, not strong enough to take this out yet, but still walking up in here. And if you go to the weekly, still just doji weak. How do we get out of here? Do we go up, doji, and measured move and start screaming, or are you going to start doing this slow, choppy move up? Triangle them out, but gradually moving higher. If you go to OIH, here, OIH, monthly, finally, remember, it was weaker last month, and now still, that's long 6-month range. We've still got to get out of all that stuff. So if we take a look at the big boys, you got the Exxon. Remember that nice move out of that. It's an outside month, now inside month, and that's going to be triangle like this. Remember this. So the question is, what is this here? Do we go up, sideways measured move, and go take a shot at the top of the triangle, or is this lower level and fail? Right now it goes inside weak. Like so. You've got the chevron going inside weak, the same type of deal. What do we got here? Do we go up, sideways measured move, and try and take all this stuff out, or inside weak back to the downside? And here you can see, what is this? You're getting killed in here. You're getting murdered in here, and that's what you can expect when you have the inside weak. That's why you want to know if you're trading something that's still inside on a longer-term time frame. If we go to APA, APA has been stronger, and now just an inside weak here to try and expand all this stuff here. Oops. Like so, inside weak for APA. If we go to Devon Energy, still watching the Devon for the monthly break here. It's Devon inside month here, so got to get outside of that inside month. We'll be keeping an eye on that. If we go to Amarada here, still trying to take out this monthly hammer, not doing it. Once again, like a lot of this stuff here, this 1, 2, 3 days completely within this bar's range, and so that needs to change. If we go to Murphy Oil, MUR, here, that's just starting off as an inside day here. You can see this came firing off RevStrat here, bam, all the way up into this stuff. Now inside day to see how we can get outside of this thing in here. If we go to OIS, OIS is presently monthly RevStrat to the upside here. Inside month countered with hammer and above that. So looking for signals above 31.90 in OIS. Go to Oxy. Oxy's, like I said, is going to have a tough time not being an inside month. This is a big range. Remember that triangle hard on the weekly. Bam. Now it goes outside week and then slightly takes that back up. The question is going to be able to keep walking back this triangle higher. And so we'll watch that with the crude and everybody else. And you got an inside day to take a shot at it. If you go to SU, Suncor, inside week there, and you can see this range has been on the weekly. How do we get out of this thing? Well, your hopes is up sideways inside week and take a shot at the breakout there. If you go to WLL, it's again tight triangle business this on the daily here. Bam, 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 bam. And now trying to get through it and goes inside day to see if it's got enough power to follow through come Monday or drop back in. If you go to XEC here on the daily, see these three but here inside day to try and get outside of this. There's a monthly, remember, it's momentum hammer to try and get out of this triangle situation here to try and take a shot at the high. So you're starting off as inside day, potential monthly momentum hammer upside, XEC. If we go to the drillers, Slobby is still a hammer counter shooter to the upside on the monthly and trying to get here. You triangle them, but good in here, and there's that. Watch the top of the triangle. Want to see if there's follow through. Up, sideways, measured move. Got that. It's going to be strong enough to take all that out. We got to continue to reconfirm that monthly with dailies and weeklies and 60s. Halliburton, monthly hammer counter shooter up as well to try and get out the outside bar, take out the lows, and so the idea here is to try and take out the other side of the triangle at 46.90. So we'll be keeping an eye on that, and then you want to stay up there because if you go to the daily, you're going to see this. Like so, trying to get out of that thing. All right, if we go to little guy PDS, if there's any hope, PDS, and you can see just watching some of this stuff, it's really gotten the crap beaten out of it, so to speak, and it is hammer counter shooter like the rest there. So we'll see if that monthly hammer countering that shooter can triangle him back through this stuff. That would be a pretty nice move. So you can see this range expanded here, expanded there, now coming back into it. So we'll keep an eye on a little guy, PDS. If we go to Baker Hughes presently inside month and up, and that got it going nicely here. So far that's still in force. And oh boy, Diamond Offshore. Our Diamond Offshore and Riggy both going inside on the week. We'll see what comes of that. Also, ESV, watching little guy here. ESV inside week, and once again, somebody who used to be somebody. These things used to be over 80. Now it's 8. So when you see this oil go one way or the other, it's either when it breaks down, you go after some of these cheapies for going to zero, or if it continues to rally on the inside month and up, some of these guys who didn't go out of business are at pretty depressed levels. So either way, we keep an eye on this stuff. NOV. Inside week, and remember, on the monthly, once again, just like that OA, it's just stuck down in here. It used to be somebody and trying to slowly work its way out of there, so we'll keep an eye on this inside week for NOV. Let's get a WMB, another real tight range there, inside week. Natty Gas had a nice day here. UNG on Friday, we went daily momentum hammer. And the weekly bullish engulfing, so no new actionable signals there to see if that can go, because RRC doing nothing on this, and you can see this weekly here. So the question is whether these natties are going to pick up out of this and try and take a shot up in there. We'll keep an eye on tight daily stuff here too. Like that, and then if you go to COG, yeesh. Tight monthly range. How do we get out of this monthly range? 4 or 5 months stuck in there. You got the Chesapeaker. If they want to take it back down, Chesapeake would be monthly shooter down. And weekly here if they want to take that down as well. So if we go to the refiners, HFC, and HFC, when RevStrat week came up, and you can see this is one of the problems when you have these tight ranges. Oftentimes they just take out both sides, triangle them both out. All right, you guys are gone. Let's take all the short guys out. Let's come back into the range. It's going to need to get outside of that. So on the daily, you'll see something like that. It goes. That's what you'll see. Inside day, takes it back up, stops them all out, goes inside day, no real buyers, and back in the middle. That's a problem. If we go to MPC, MPC, you can see the similar thing, but does close as inside weak now. And try and take a shot at either of these things. Go to Valero, same deal. You can see the slight higher high, lower low, and inside weak. Tesoro, same type of deal. Then we can go to the Gunner CWEI. This thing, man, so far another weekly shooter. But what a powerhouse this has been on the monthly. And you can see the similar pattern on a monthly. Just bam, 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 bam. Inside month down, puke, stop them all out, then rally back, take all these guys out. Now just starting off as weekly shooter up in there. If you go to PE, it's Parsley Energy. This thing hasn't had any problems. Triangle them out on the weekly right here. Just get this upper level triangle, but this thing is, if it gets through here and uses this as the measured move, that'd be very nice because you would be monthly momentum hammer into the highs. And TRGP, Targa, speaking about used to be somebody, 160. And now tight week to see if it can continue this comeback. And you see they got them in here too. Stop them out. See you later. Higher highs. Trying to become support. If we go to XRT Retail, once again, stuck in a range. You go to the monthly XRT. Starts as an inside month in the middle of all this business. How are we going to get out of this? And so it's, once again, on case-by-case basis. If you go to, also in the Dow, Walmart, having some issues here. The corrective activity, and then starting to walk back down, having some issues here as it goes triangle expando on the gap or downer. Like that. No new actionable signals there, though. You got Costco. Finally, stuck in all this business in here, but finally an inside week to try and get out of here. So inside week for Costco. See what's it going to do. Is it going to go outside week, inside week, and measured move and get crushed down into here? Or is this the higher low and back up? We'll watch that inside week. Target still in a mess here, and Target still, once again, needs to get out of this month. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months completely within that month's range. Still looking for that to break eventually. Coach. The Coach monthly, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months. Side like that, but Coach, you do finally have an inside week to try and get out of this mess, but we'll see how that goes. Okay, if we go to DG, and DG we know been getting pummeled, but now DG hammers. So we're going to see if this was the final blowout of this range. Down, sideways, measure, move a little bit, blow them all out, and trying to go weekly hammer. You got a lower level daily triangle here trying to pop its head back up in there if we can take out that weekly hammer, because it is taking that monthly back green. If we go to Foot Locker, there's a lot of monthlies in here that are showing some promise. Foot Locker being one of them by going inside month and up. We'll look for further confirmation of that. We've got Gas, GES, look at inside month and inside week near the lows. And so potential issues there. So watching for the combination on the GES. Nordstrom. Inside month and up right now. If we go to KSS. Inside month and up. And then if you go to Kroger, oh boy. The question is, we're going to take out this outside month all the way down into here and keep deteriorating. If this was the middle of the range, took it to the upside, downside, upside, and now retake that, that would be a problem. As you can see, this thing has just been walking lower and now an inside day. Puker. If we go to LB, LB would still be an inside month. It starts off as an inside week there to see if there's any hope there. If we go to Lulu, oh boy. And the yoga pants having all sorts of trouble here. And the weekly and the monthly, just no actionable signals, but you can see how dismal this thing has been. It had one quick spike, then momentum shooter down. So far just walking lower, but no new actionable signals. Now let's go to the good side again. Macy's, yay, Macy's going inside month and up. If we go to Phillips Van Heusen, the same, inside month and up there. If we go to RL, thinking about it, still inside month, but we want to see if we can get that inside month break out of the RL. Ross Stores, inside month, takes it to the upside, but problem was going into the highs, and now it retreats here to try and set up a rev strat week to the downside. So we can look on either side of that, Ross Stores. Starbucks, inside week, slight lower low, so the hopes of the faithful will be finally triangle day out. There's that big outside bar, that inside bar, takes it to the upside, comes down, takes it out the other side, now goes inside. And that's why we look for that stuff, so we'll see how that goes. Tiffany's. 3 weekly hammers to try and take out the inside month. Here, Under Armour, hey boy, trying to go inside month and down, and this thing's just been stuck in here too and having problems just like the Niker. And the Niker, no actionable signals would be the good part, just actually bearish engulfing into the recent lows there, so we got some issues there. Back to the good guys, Urban Outfitters, after holding this gap, trying to go inside month to the upside. And Whole Foods, if there's any hope. How's the rumor mill doing? You are trying to come off the lower lows here. And then the rumor mill spikes it up and then goes inside day. So I want to see how that inside day plays out. If we go to IBB, more issues here. You do have a hammer. On the monthly, still inside. And the weekly, still, how are we going to get out of this business in here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 weeks in this range to try and get out of that stuff. If we go to Celgene, Celgene's starting off as an inside week, and so we took a shot here once again. You can see the range. Too strong to take that stuff out. That was good. You got rid of these guys, though. Higher high, lower low, higher high, and now you're back into this. So the question is here, when you see the slight higher high there and the slight lower low, is this a continuation triangle inside week and peak? Or is going to try and hold his upper level and take that back up? We'll see either side of that one. It's Celgene. BIIB, still stuck in this range and watching this daily. Still can't put in any higher highs off of this stuff would be the problem. You do have a slight lower low, though, hammer to start off. If it wants to take these guys out and then take another shot at it, we'll see how it comes out Monday morning. GILD still peg. And this weekly still walking down here and just hitting the bottom of the triangle again. So nothing really there, except that you're still trying to come and get these triangles going. But so far, red on the month and hitting some recent lows. If we go to Regeneron once again stuck in the middle of all this kind of stuff. And how do we get out of here? What is this? A slight higher high there. We're going to come down and try and take this stuff out. But here's your bigger triangle. You got to either try and get that or that, and you're nowhere near it. If we go to Amgen, tight triangle business here on the weekly. You can see the slight higher high, now the slight lower low. You can draw like this. Ta-da. Ta-da. Old triangle trying to become support. If you go to the daily, you'll see this thing in here. So the question is, what is this? How do we get out of this stuff here? You got a hammer to start off to see if it wants to giddy up and go off the bottom. Oh, the try. If you go to ACAD, this is what a continuation triangle looks like. Down, lower, low, higher, high. Higher, lower, low, higher, high. Everybody's out. Okay, now you're free to puke. Peak inside day measured move puker off of that. And presently the monthly is momentum shooter down, like those Utes. So the bios start to go. She's on the hit list below that. If you go to Alexion, Alexion's starting off as an inside week, so if there's any hope with inside week equilibrium in Alexion, blue the same as an inside week, still trying to come out of the ashes. If we go to BMRN, also an inside week, and you just see she's stuck in this range. Question, if it starts falling apart, you're going to have that monthly shooter down, kind of like the ALNY when the news came out. Oops. And they say you triangle they out. They're like, but Rob, it's news. I'm like, I know. It's not necessarily it's just the setup. Like this. Okay. If we go to, makes it even worse. ILMN, let's go to the good guys. Yay, ILMN, trying to take inside month to the upside. Starting off the week, this momentum hammer to get through it again. Go to EW, no new actionable signals up in here. Oh, no, it's inside week. Inside week, maybe. Nope, just missed by a little bit. But you can see here, in general, holding a higher range comparative to the friends. If you go to MNK starting off as an inside day. The question is, what is this here? Going to try and hold that, or is it going to go expand as it takes the inside month to the downside? If you go to NLNK, used to be somebody, picking up a little bit of steam here and starting off as an inside day to see what is this business in here. Can we get the measured move and continue higher? If we go to RDUS, there's inside day, and just the concern here is you're watching the break of the inside month. If you go to RGEN, Repligen, inside week on the pullback here. See if this is just triangle them out and continue higher. We've got an inside week to keep an eye on there. Go to SGen, Seattle. That's still hanging near the recent highs, all-time highs, and an inside week to see if that can keep going. If we go to UTHR, inside week, and if you look at the daily, you're going to see this. Very well defined. It went momentum hammer up, so I want to see if it can use that inside week to take a shot towards that upper part of the triangle. If we go to VRTX, inside week to see if this is can it continue this and take all these guys out, or if this is just the pullback and then the inside and back up. Either side of VRTX is going to get my attention. VRX. Goes inside month and down here, not falling apart just yet, but 24.53 below that we want to know about. XON going the other way, yay, inside month and up for XON, so looking for signals above 28.57. If we go to Techland, XLK, so XLK, Tech, been leading the charge here, and you can see this inside week, so the question is, how do we get out of this? Going to be strong enough to go inside week and use this as a measured move up, triangle them out, and measured move off to that stuff. We'll see. SMH Semiconductors also been rocking here, and SMH, I think just missed. Yeah, just missed being an inside week. But you can see how much the tech has been outperforming, but you do have daily momentum hammers to start it off. So if we go to your favorites, Facebook, doing nothing, but Facebook does finally form an inside week there. Been pretty tight there for a while, but we got an inside week to work off of there. Amazon, just in the stratosphere by itself, so a little doji up in the air. And on the daily, just chopping them up in here. You got an outside day here, so the question is, going to be weak enough to come down and take these guys out here to slight lower lows, or it's just going to keep walking up. No new actionable signal there. Netflixy, getting the job done finally, and you got that inside week to give it the push finally. And so on the monthly, you're still monthly hammer to the up and 2-bar inside pattern, 2 months inside of that, now taking all that stuff out, and you just don't have the weekly to help anymore, so we'll have to look for shorter term stuff to reconfirm or negate that. Google tried to go inside week and down, and then it comes back up in the range. It's a two-week pattern. How do we get out of that stuff? Because you look at the daily, and you're just getting chopped to nobody's business in there, so you just want to be careful and get out of that 2-week pattern. If we go to some more of those semis, analog devices here, RevStrat day, potential RevStrat month. If we go to Texas Instruments, once again, there's RevStrat month above this here. So you got these two guys taken out. The question, can take it to the highs. 70.58 above that is RevStrat month in Texan. If you go to Maxim, MXIM, same deal. If it can take it out, hammer counters that, so you'd need it to come up to here, and that'd be 41.45, trying to take that stuff out if you can get out of there. Good thing is you got these weekly momentum hammer and daily momentum hammer to start off to see if they can get them going. If we go to AVGO Broadcom, once again, a series of these hammers. You got that daily hammer, weekly, potentially the monthly momentum hammer into the highs. We can take all that stuff out. If we go to KLAC with no deal with LRCX, but that turns out to be an all right thing. Last week it was RevStrat week up, and to take the inside month, you still want to get outside of this month, but anytime you're inside month and up, we'll respect that. As LRCX goes inside month, it goes to the highs momentum hammer. If we go to MCHP microchip, their potential monthly momentum hammer, inside week. Want to keep all these chippies going. If we go to MLNX, underperforming here, and you can see comparatively what this thing's been doing. But the good thing is you got monthly hammers if it wants to join the party. But here's the lower level triangle weekly here. How do we get out of this business in here? This stuff. But we're trying to see if we can take out those hammers. Starts off as an inside day. If we go to MRVL, or semi-chip, inside week. MU, after the earnings, been stuck in a tight range, but MU did this here. Tight, 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 outside day, inside day, earnings, goes down and comes back up. 2-bar pattern would be a RevStrat back to the upside if they want to forgive it because it's in the right neighborhood. If you go to Qualcomm, still going to be, obviously going to be a lot of news on there, but inside day and inside week there, watching the NXPI with all that here, just dojing up there, and outside day, inside day for waiting for more shenanigans to get outside of that range. If we go to NXPI, I'm sorry, to SWKS, Momentum Daily Hammer trying to reconfirm the monthly Momentum Hammer to try and come back to where she used to be. If we go to Pterodyne is also monthly hammer trying to get out of here, more semi. Setting up the weekly Momentum Hammer with the daily inside Momentum Hammer here on the highs if they want to start gunning them right out the chute. Taiwan Semiconductor TSM, that one daily to the upside. No actionable signal, unfortunately, but you can just see how strong that's been with the semi. Xilinx, a little bit different, pulls in a bit, but will go inside week. But it's red on the month, but it goes inside week like this to see outside week, inside week. What is this consolidation here? Watching that inside week for guidance. If we go to Adobe just going inside week near the highs, and this thing just keeps powering, really monthly. Adobe just, the question is it really going to accelerate out of this stuff, or is this normally about where it drops in? But we'll see. Inside week for Adobe. ANET. Inside week here after a real nice run to see if that can continue this. Look at that, inside month, Butte, still going, and now inside week to confirm or negate this recent move. If we go to Baba, inside week for Baba, and the comeback trail on Baba. Don't call it a comeback, but it totally is. But now you got an inside week to keep an eye on in Baba. OLED. Still walking down this series here, triangle them out here and drop down, but now inside week here to see is this thing really going to fall apart back down into here and try and hold something in like that. If we go to Symantec would be Rev Strat weak off the highs after a real nice run here. Wouldn't surprise me to triangle them out a little bit, try and take the tight stop gang out of here. We'll see how that goes. Remember, Symantec was one of those just like that British pound where you had all that Rev Strat here. Off the bottom and really exploded back to the upside. If we go to Twitter, what do they want to do with the tweets? Well, they're going to think it over the weekend. You got yourself an inside day to start off the week. VMW was tight inside week. Now you can see these 2-bar inside day patterns, and this is when you get these tight triangles really going to chop you up here. Higher highs, lower lows like that, and into here, causing the outside week. Still watching for this monthly break, the inside month break, to see if this is going to keep coming back here. Go to Home Builders, just a little bit. ITB, remember last month that went inside month and down. We got divergent stuff over there. You got Weyerhaeuser doing this. Weyerhaeuser stuck in this business in here. Meanwhile, you've got KBH going off the recent highs here, but an inside week. And so what is this? How's it going to get out of this right here? Watching for the inside week break, and you can watch all of them together because you're going to see stuff like Toll Brothers here, inside week, inside month. Look, waiting for that combination break, and you've got Pulte Home PHM, potential rev strat to the downside week. So a few things to keep an eye on over there. If we go to Wynn Resorts and the Gamas, inside week here, and to see if it goes back down and rev strats the month, all this stuff, this inside month counter of a shooter, and take all these guys out before all down in here, or does it keep trying to move higher? LVS moved higher, and MGM hanging tough. LVS there just kind of waka, but if you look at MPEL, they do want to start gunning these things. MPEL goes weekly momentum hammer, and there's your triangle you can see. A few more here. We go to BDX, and that's potential rev strat week to the upside. CXW, remember these guys? CXW trying to take out the inside month to go to oblivion. If we go to John Deere, taking an inside month to the upside, you can see potentially a lot higher on that triangle if it can get it going. Like I said, there's also a lot of earnings coming out here, so be aware of that. EWZ on the monthly, and remember, old Brazil used to be somebody too. It's trying to fight back. Here's the monthly. And the weekly, what is this consolidation here? You're going to see if you can get out of it, because it's on a daily, you're going to see this triangle business here, and then trying to go momentum hammer to get through that. If we go to FLR Fleur is inside week. inside week, and if it goes to the upside, potential rev strat month to the upside. So watching both of those levels on that. If you go to FSLR on the monthly, still having some issues here, but remember that weekly triangle. Now it's an inside week, and you see when these tight triangles, you want to get out of this stuff. All right, I guess remember the daily. When I say fractal triangles, you can see them on shorter term time frames like so. So now inside week to see if it's going to drop back in, all that stuff, what's going to do here. If we go to HLF, inside day, I'm watching for the monthly break here, inside month and up, albeit a potential multi-pattern, but we'll respect that above 63.50. If we go to RLGY, look at it. This thing's having all sorts of trouble here at RLGY, potential rev strat weekly to the downside, oblivion. If they want to punish her into the lows. Inside week countered with shooter right here, and 4 levels of stops off of these guys. If we go to SNA Snap-on also potential rev strat week to the downside. SYNA came powering last week. Rev strat week up, monthly combo. Inside month and up combo, so that's still inside month and up. Tenneco TEN. If you go to the weekly, you're going to see this. Rev strat week potentially off the top of this triangle here, like so. If we go to VECO, VECO, another used to be somebody. And on the daily, just going momentum hammer. Remember this momentum hammer trying to take this inside month to the upside. Uh-oh. Looks like Oprah's gaining weight today. Weight again. WTW. Rev strat. Boom. Up and back in off the inside week. Rev strat to the downside. And oh no, Tesla having some issues. Bearish engulfing week for the Tesla. Not the total end of the world, but still trying to get outside of this 4-month pattern within this and here. But also potentially for the bearish engulfing month if they want to take the outside month. The weekly does this, and so if they got them good in here, you got all these guys to take this back stuff and take this out and test that stuff. So daily upper level triangle here smashes through it. The question is going to get worse and take all this stuff. The good thing would be no actionable signal outside of triangle needs to grow bearish engulfing outside bar. So that's going to do it for this week. So obviously there's a lot of things that need to be solved, and we want to keep an eye on the breaks in these futures. And are they taking everybody with them, or are we going to continue to see sector strength and weakness rotation? Also, another thing you want to maintain, keep looking for when we do have all these inside breaks, is simultaneous breaks. Specifically in the sectors. Last week we had a simultaneous break to the downside in both the gold miners and the utilities, and so that is where we can start to focus on, hone in on the proper sectors and where to be. And of course, with earnings coming out, we're going to be playing that gapper list every morning. All right, that's going to do it for this week. I'm Rob Smith in the Black Quant VTF here, T3 Live.